Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. Of course, overall, we've been looking at statements from PTI leaders as far as dialogue is concerned, the importance of dialogue. We've been talking about this from time to time, and also the fact that whether there can be dialogue between the establishment at this time as far as a political party like the PTI is concerned, considering the history, its ramifications overall on politics. We'll be talking about that, whether there's any real truth to these assertions at this time. Before that, we'll also be talking about the PMLN and the recent statement from the PMLN leader, Rana Sanaullah, who has said that the Supremo of PMLN, Nawaz Sharif Saab, is likely to be reinstated as the PMLN president. Whether that will follow, of course, its ramifications, his leadership, of course, is under no doubt as far as the PMLN is concerned. It's his influence on the party, the fact that, of course, it is very much his party, it is very much his vision, and what this change will really mean for the party. All of that today on Perspective. I have with me Fakhar Yousafzai, who's a senior journalist. Thank you for being with us today. We also have with us Zahid Gishkori, who's a senior journalist. Thank you for joining us today. And Muneeb Qadir, who is a senior analyst. Thank you for being with us today. Before I go to Fakhar here in the studio, Zahid Saab, can you hear me? Zahid Saab?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Zahid Saab, there is, as far as this statement from Rana Sanaullah is concerned, considering the leadership of the presidency of the PMLN, the fact that Nawaz Sharif Saab, his role, his traditional role as far as politics is concerned, and also the fact that, of course, his considerable influence and the fact that it has in no way diminished or decreased over time. Will this mean anything? How do you look at this, development, the accuracy of it, and what are your thoughts on this?
First of all, thank you very much, Mahrukh, for the opportunity. It's a pleasure. I think symbolically it's very important. Otherwise, the party affairs and the overall trajectory run by Pakistan Muslim League known since Nawaz Sharif returned back to Pakistan and his cases were overall wrapped up and although it's true that PMLN and Nawaz Sharif himself was not expecting this, what happened so far in Pakistan political arena, he was obviously dreaming to become Pakistan Prime Minister. He was insured, and it was also ensured to his party as well that the party would be getting 2/3 majority, or at least single-handedly it would be in a position to form the government. And on the very first day, on February 8th, the election day, Nawaz Sharif himself expressed this categorically. He called spade a spade that the party should get the mandate to form the government to take difficult decisions to overcome the challenges country was facing. But yes, so far, he has been facing litigation, legal challenges, and he was removed from office first in Panama cases, and later on he was removed to head the party even under legal obligation.
Here, as far as the legal challenges of the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif Saab is concerned, those are separate from the fact that, of course, they have their own legal status, and that, of course, has changed. But his influence on the party has not diminished in any manner. His influence, his retention of control over the PMLN has in no way diminished. Would you agree with that statement?
Of course, we don't see that his role as a lead within the party, even in the country, even in the government, could not be denied. And obviously, he still is in the mind that what happened in elections and what was the result and how to consolidate situation, and that's why one of his prime target was to take control over the country largest province, Punjab, and his daughter now become chief minister, and he himself is supervising the affairs. He gave the guideline to his daughter, the government of the province, and obviously he's in China with a purpose for the state cause. We don't know what actually the status and the cause and the mission of his visit to China, but obviously being twice prime minister and three times prime minister, and his party is in the government, and the prime minister himself is in Saudi Arabia. We are expecting that for the first time there might be any.
So you're saying the focus is, of course, on economy, and the focus is on bringing some tangible results. Whether it's we don't know what's happening, like you said, as far as China is concerned. But overall, the focus of the PMLN, as far as trying to get the economy off the ground, seems to be there. Let me come back to you on that, and I'm going to go to Fakhar Yousafzai here. Fakhar Sahib, you heard what Zahid Sahib is saying. Yeah. He is, of course, talking about the efforts of the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif Sahib, also Shehbaz Sharif Sahib, the Prime Minister at this time, to bring some tangible results as far as economy is concerned. On the other hand, this statement by Rana Sanaullah Sahib, how do you look at it, and to what do you attribute this change when it comes?
Thank you very much for inviting me. First of all, I think so the economy is very important. It's a big challenge for the current government. Mia Shehbaz Sharif, the PM of Pakistan, and the Mia Nawaz Sharif know about these type of challenges. But what the thing is, if in Pakistan is facing the political instability as well. This is very important. If you have a political stability, then your economy will be stable, and the people will trust on your country, and they will come to invest here. This is the major challenge for the current government. And rest of the thing, if they talk about, if they dialogue with the other political parties like the PTI, it's very important, because in the past we have seen so many things from 2018 to 2023 or 2024. PTI was not ready to dialogue with any political party in Pakistan. But right now we are listening some voices from the PTI as Shehryar Afridi is concerned, as well as the other political leader of the PTI. They are interested to talk with the political party, but they are more interested to talk with the establishment of Pakistan. Yes, I don't know why they are not going to talk or dialogue with the political parties like Pakistan People's Party and the PMLN. This is very important. If they will go for this, of course, the situation will be changed, and that will be good for Pakistan.
I want to come back to that. I want to talk about their talks and its effectiveness, and why they are not willing to entertain talks, like you said, with political parties, and rather only with the establishment, which is what the reports are saying. But first, I want to go to Muneeb and talk about this. Muneeb, legally speaking, as a lawyer, how do you look at this? I mean, of course, we saw the challenges, the legal challenges, and it seems to have been a brief hiatus, so to speak, from this position as the presidency. And of course, it's a formality for Nawaz Sharif Sahib to be inducted again as the president of the PMLN, because clearly he is PMLN.
So there is no legal bar as to Mia Nawaz Sharif becoming the president of PMLN, that they can decide inter se within their own political party. And we already knew that he would be exercising considerable influence from behind the scenes, even though his daughter became the chief minister and his brother became the prime minister, and he did not assume any official post within the government other than becoming the MNA in National Assembly. But we knew that he would be wielding a lot of power and influence in the party anyway. But now what happens is that there's a renewed confidence, which, one can gauge from Rana Sanaullah's tone within the PMLN top leadership, that, Mia Nawaz Sharif, whatever that he went through, all the legal battles and the labels that were put onto him after he had been convicted in innumerable cases, following 2017 and 18. Now that he's been given a clean chit, in Rana Sanaullah's own words, from all those cases, whether they be, emanating from the courts or NAB, he should be, this is, I mean, what the thought is within PMLN. He should be the person at the helm of all the affairs governing PMLN as a party. So in that sense, what it does is, more than legal, it gives him political power to take on, the prime minister and chief minister into confidence and make sure that they follow his overall vision for the party in the way that they execute their roles in the government, whether that be in the federal government or in the Punjab government. So I think that's the significance.
I'm going to interject. When we say that the formalities of his position, as the PMLN presidency are concerned, as far as issuing tickets are concerned, as far as formalities like that, when making decisions, appointments within the political party, the structure of the PMLN itself, you think that the fact that the signature at this time, those are, of course, Shehbaz Sharif Saab is going to be signing, has been signing as the president of the PMLN. And those things also matter, and of course this would mean that the control effectively goes back to, in that regard, to Nawaz Sharif Saab.
I mean, that these are exactly the soundings which had been going on anyway. Even before Rana Sanaullah made that statement, a section of PMLN supporters were very disappointed that Mian Nawaz Sharif would not be assuming any official role like that of the Prime Minister. But then they also realized, PMLN supporters and even observers, that it's in fact, de facto ultimate power, resided with Nawaz Sharif, despite Mia Shehbaz Sharif having become the Prime Minister. So now it's only going to become more official with him gaining the title of the President of PMLN. So yes, I believe a lot of the policy making and a lot of the governance which is going to follow under Mia Shehbaz Sharif's premiership is going to be directed a lot by Mia Nawaz Sharif.
We've been talking about, of course, the presidency of the PML and the fact that, according to reports, the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif Saab is all set to go back as the president of the PMLN. We also want to move on and talk about dialogue at this time. Let me go to Zahid Gishkori Saab. Zahid Saab, the dialogue between PTI as a political party and other political parties is one thing. PTI as a political party and these reports of them having a dialogue with the establishment. What are your thoughts on this? And why does the PTI not feel that they can, earlier on, like Fakhar Saab here is saying, have a dialogue with other political parties?
I think, Mahrukh, it has been around 4 years in the country. The political instability and uncertainty continue to rule, unfortunately, and it looks like that many critics say that this all mess created by the political parties because they never sit on a single table, and PTI particularly is blamed because the party even did not show any grace at any stage, even its leadership, that to engage other political parties, their political rivals, to find out the way to get out the challenges country is facing. But on the other hand, even though its leadership and party, one of our prime leaders, gave the statement yesterday night that saying that they are willing to engage and negotiate with Pakistan powerful establishment and DGISI and the Chief of Army Staff, but unfortunately, the party never showed that it's going to engage other political parties like PMLN and PPP. Three major political parties have been getting opportunity to run the country, but they never engage, and this is very unfortunate, by the way. And this is perhaps the right time to engage. All political parties should come on a single table to get the way out, get the solutions, and to just form a charter for democracy, for charter for Pakistan better economy, because the situation in the region is also challenging. What's happening
Really need,
surrounding the
I'm going to interject, do we really need dialogue right now, in your opinion? Yes, there are, like you said, the political situation overall, the circumstances, those are there. But do you think, if all political parties stick to their mandate, if all, as far as the opposition is concerned, it also sticks to its mandate, will talks really be necessary?
I think the political parties should engage to each other, one another as well, because there is no solution other way. Because legislation and the strong opposition concept goes missing, unfortunately, in the parliament for productive legislation and to get the way out to meet the challenges. And even though at many times, even the Prime Minister, even the ruling party, PMLN and Pakistan People's Party in particular, they offer invitation to Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf and other political parties to come on the negotiation tables and try to find out the solution to get the country from economic crisis. And obviously there are so many challenges as well. But the leadership of PTI, and the situation has been changed after 9th May. It has been a year now, because PTI has been blaming about alleged election rigging and what happened in elections and what happened to their workers. And they say that thousands of workers are in the jails. And obviously there are problems for the party, and their leadership is also in the jail. So I don't see, by the way, in near future any negotiations or any gesture be extended by PTI to sit together with other political parties, because they always created a mess and rhetoric that they are thieves, they are looters. It's like that. But on the ground, in reality, and in the courts, it has yet to be proven that either it's true or not. But it's a fact that people of Pakistan, by and large, they're buying their narrative. There's also the narrative on the social media and everywhere that it looks like that truth disappeared and lies floating everywhere like oceans. And it's fake news and the fake narrative even. It has been a challenge, not only in the world, but also Pakistan is like
I'm going to go to Muneeb. Muneeb, do you think, legally speaking, and generally in other democracies across the world, I'm not saying that we are, in any way we can compare, but overall, if all political parties stick to the mandate that's been given to them, and even the opposition has a particular mandate, which of course has its own importance, has its own sanctity, if those things were to be respected, would dialogue really be necessary in today's climate, in today's Pakistan, in your opinion?
Dialogue has been very much necessary. In fact, in the post-2007, political environment of the country, when those exiled leaders of PMLN and People's Party had returned and elections were being called in 2008. And that is why they entered into Charter of Democracy anyway. Why? Because, some very basic fundamentals need to be agreed upon by the political stakeholders. First of all, that, non-democratic forces need to be kept out of politics, and everyone has to remain within their their constitutional domain. These basic things have not been agreed upon by the political parties, and I think that PTI is particularly a miscreant in that regard. And I'm using a very strong word when I say miscreant, because when I compare in other countries like Britain, which is going to have its general election this year, they are not talking about the establishment. Whatever, power struggle that is going on there is mostly between the Conservative and the Labour parties, and they're fighting out their politics in the Houses of Parliament itself, not on the streets, not in the jails. They are not asking for any support from the establishment or military leadership. But here it's extremely unfortunate that when I listen to people like, PTI's Shahriar Afridi, He openly says that we are ready to engage in dialogue with who? The army chief, with who? The DGISI, but certainly not with the mainstream political parties which have entered into coalition to form a government in the center. We will not be engaging in any talks with him. And strangely enough, those very same, ruling political parties are, and time and again, they've extended the olive branch to PTI to enter into dialogue, to enter into conversation. On the other hand, chief minister of KP, he has even extended an invitation to groups like the TTP to enter into talks. So, I mean, they are ready to talk with anyone and everyone, but just not those who are at the very heart of the democratic process, the political stakeholders.
Let me come back to you. Fakhar Saab, do you think it's because they believe that there is their politics which is based on acrimony, their politics which is based on, their voter base is responds to that kind of antagonism or responds to that kind of aggressiveness, and therefore, their whole political paradigm hinges on calling the other political parties, like Muneeb said, chores or dakus or thieves or looters, whatever.
Absolutely. You're right, and as Muneeb said about the PTI stance, they are not ready to talk with the political parties or the political leaders. If you talk about the PTI chairman, who is in a jail right now, he was also not ready to talk with the other political party when he was a Prime Minister of Pakistan. And this is, I think, so this is unfortunate for us, and it's creating more difficulties. As Muneeb talk about the CM of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gandapur Sahab, Gandapur Sahab is not looking like a chief minister of a province. He is, I think so. This is not aggressiveness that if you are talking about that I will मैं फतह कर लूँगा Islamabad को and things like that. This is not. I think so. This is not aggressiveness. You should deliver to the people of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa if they are elected you for third term. This is, I think so, we never seen this type of the party who is elected for the third term consecutively in one province. But what they are delivering to the people of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and the political leaders in the National Assembly, what they are talking about. One is talking about that we will go for the dialogue, and the other one is said, no, Chairman Sahib said, no, we are not going for this type of... So you're saying that
there's no clarity within,
confusion,
there's
big confusion.
As far as within the party, and there is, as far as directions from the former Prime Minister himself, and what he wants to do will eventually prevail, but the second tier leadership is in an utter state of confusion. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Zahid Saab, would you agree with this? You think that overall there is confusion as far as PTI's second tier leadership is concerned? There are reports that come in that are then contradicted, and there doesn't seem to be clarity as to how and when they want to proceed with dialogue, with the main issues at hand, with whether it's the chairmanship of the PAC is concerned overall.
As we are discussing, Mahrukh, that PTI unfortunately is scattered. There is a difference of opinion among top tier leadership. Even they are in the hide somewhere. There is no unity in the ranks of party on different issues. First, they were struggling to get reserve seats in the National Assembly. First, they even were not in a position to get negotiation with any political party who might be a parliamentary party to get this all, but they could not. And finally, Election Commission of Pakistan announced yesterday that now they accepted that they be a part of 82 members, be a part of Sunni Tehreek. So it's very difficult time for the party, no doubt. But who would take the lead for the negotiation, either with the establishment or with the political parties or with the government? And we were discussing the role of Chief Minister Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. I haven't seen any political maturity, unfortunately, on different national issues. Even they created mess on a negotiation matter with the IMF, and finance minister was over there, and before the election and after the elections, and during the PGM era in the previous government. So they were struggling and they were trying to get the space in the center. No way, whatever, even they crossed the limit sometime. And, even it's like a situation sometimes to take my way or the highway. And it's very difficult for the state to be getting solutions from political parties who are running different provinces in the center as well. And, we were discussing that Nawaz Sharif is out of country in China to discuss some important matter for the state. And secondly, Pakistan Prime Minister is also in Saudi Arabia. It's his third consecutive visit in almost 1.5 months now. So it looks like that how Pakistan is struggling to engage his friendly countries, to bring different countries, investors in Pakistan. Facilitation Center was formed in June last year, and more than 220 different firms and investors showed their interest to invest in Pakistan, Saudi investors as well. So these back-to-back meetings starting from tomorrow, I think there might be a way out for the Pakistan pledges which Saudi Arabia made. So one should be very hopeful in the situation, but negotiation by political parties with each other, I don't see, unfortunately, in the near future, because budget matters are coming in the country next month, and even Khyber Pakhtunkhwa
important to make sure that everybody acts within the ambit of what their particular role is. And at this time, it's important when the premier is making these efforts, when you're looking at party leadership, try to get as much benefit economically to put the country back on ground, for there to be no strife, no upheaval at this time. Muneeb, isn't that where perhaps the dialogue is important?
Exactly, because both these issues, political stability or the lack of it, and economic improvement, they are both intertwined. Because you cannot have one without the other. Political stability has eluded us for a very long time, particularly after 2022. It's because PTI took to the streets, and the street politics and false and narratives and fake news being manufactured has only created so much trouble within the country that our potential partners, our potential trade partners on the international stage, I think that they would be wary of entering into any agreement with Pakistan unless they can be assured that political stability has been achieved in the country. And now, just recently, by-elections have taken place. And unfortunately for PTI, they have lost, and PMLN has won overwhelmingly, which again just goes on to show that the Pakistani public, in whom do they really repose their trust? But then there's again political controversy trying to be created by the PTI, saying that the elections are rigged. Whereas I've just recently noticed that the tone of Pakistan People's Party and PMLN within the Senate itself, Ms. Sherry Rahman yesterday, she talked about overcoming political disagreement, or at least voicing disagreements within the parliament and not on the streets. And interestingly, Mr. Irfan Siddiqui of PMLN within the Senate had also said that if you are ready to enter into negotiations with Sunni Ittihad Council or JUIF, why not with PMLN and Pakistan People's Party, the other two mainstream parties than PTI? So if we do not see political stakeholders entering into a relationship of sportsmanship and fighting out the disagreements in a political manner, diplomatically, and if they start taking to the streets, and if they start manufacturing fake stories, fake news, fake agenda on social media, trying to dissuade the IMF or international trading partners or the European Union from entering into partnerships with Pakistan, that is only going to, I think, put us in a very disadvantageous position in any political party which places itself and its own interests above that of the nation, I think is a hindrance to Pakistan's political and economic progress. It cannot be treated as a mainstream political party anymore.
Fakhar, do you agree with this? Do you think what Muneeb is saying when he says that there is, of course, there has to be some, there has to be clarity, there has to be an ambit within which each political party has to exercise the power that has been given to them according to the power given to them by the people, and the opposition is no exception to that. They do have a role. They do. I think PTI as an opposition, it has to be accepted. Their seats, their number of seats have to be accepted. Their role in the parliament has to be accepted. But then that role has to be exercised with caution. It has to be exercised with circumspection. It can't be exercised unilaterally to create upheaval. And I think, do you think that perhaps they are coming to terms with that?
You're right. The other political parties should accept their mandate. They have almost 94 seats in the National Assembly, and they have a full-fledged government in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Of course, the other political party like PMLN, like Pakistan People's Party, they should accept all their mandate as well. But I will say one thing, that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, unfortunately, they are ready to talk to the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. The CM of KP, some days earlier, he was said about that we are ready to talk with with those people. If they are ready to talk with the terrorist organization, why are they are not talking with the other political parties, like, and why they are not sitting with the Prime Minister Shehbaz, and why they are not sitting with the President Asif Ali Zardari? I think so. It's very important, and they know about these type of these things. If they are propagating on the social media, of course they are very successful. I will say this: they are very successful, but I think so. This is not for the whole life or the rest of the time. If they want to the politics here in Pakistan, and if they want to prosperous the Pakistani economy and political stability, for that they will sit with the other political party, and they shouldn't say this, that we will talk with the army chief and the establishment, but not with the political party. It is very unfortunate, I think so.
Do you think that this is just something traditionally we've seen? Zahid Saab, we saw a lot of comments coming from the PTI, also the PTI chief, with regard to the role of the establishment, with regard to the, as far as the elections are concerned, as far as the political parties, their mandate are concerned, all of those things. And this is just voicing that opinion when they say that they only want to talk to the establishment. Isn't that true? Zahid Saab, can you hear me? Muneeb, the same question to you. You think it's going to, it's just their general disregard, their general refusal to respect the mandate of other political parties, and to acknowledge that there, according to them only, there is one power, so to speak, that they want to speak to.
Absolutely. This narrative that PTI supporters have been peddling, that they are anti-establishment. Oh no, they're certainly not, because right before going to jail, the chairman of PTI had been giving interviews to the international media left, right, and center, and each time that he was asked that, is your fight against the involvement of establishment in politics, or is it for the establishment's involvement in politics, but in your favor? And he would always dodge that question. Or otherwise, at best, he would say that I cannot envision a situation where the establishment wouldn't have a role to play in politics. So he was the person who got deeply offended when he heard that the establishment is neutral. And we know, the narrative he came up with, that, no one can be neutral, no human being can be neutral, only animals can be neutral, and all those things that he used to say to his charged audiences. So I think that they are still trying to cling on to the shortcut, that particular shortcut to power, that, just adopt us and disregard the constitution, disregard the law. But unfortunately for them, but fortunately for us, this is not how it works, and this is not how it shall work. We do have a functioning government right now. Yes, it was a hung parliament, but then they've come up with a power sharing arrangement between them. And who's the worst for it? It's PTI. They've tried to hold the democratic process hostage to the whims. We've just seen how they've tried to, deny administering oaths to KP reserve seats members. And in that sense, there haven't been elections for Senate from the KP. And that is all because of the PTI's intransigence, because of their recalcitrant behavior. But they cannot go on with these pressure tactics for very long. I think that they are losing, even though their fake narrative that they're trying to peddle on social media, they might be winning among their own particular, support base. But by and large, on the political landscape and field, they are definitely losing. They are in jail. Their leadership is in jail. They should have been in parliament.
Right, fair enough. Thank you so much for being with us. Muneeb Qadir, thank you for joining us. Fakhar Yousafzai, thank you for your very valuable input. Zahid Gishkori Saab, thank you for joining us today. Overall, at this time, the importance of dialogue is certainly there, but then there is also the fact that all stakeholders, all political parties must acknowledge the mandate of other political parties and respect it. If the PTI wants that it should have dialogue, then it must have dialogue with other political parties. It must acknowledge those political parties, it must acknowledge their mandate, and across the board that applies to their role as the opposition also. As a democracy, we cannot move forward unless we have that kind of mutual respect between different political parties and their ability to acknowledge their mandate within the ambit that has been given to them by the people of Pakistan. Let's hope that the political parties can do that, and let's hope that they can move forward with one goal only, and that is the prosperity of Pakistan, so that whenever the next elections come, we can see perhaps a more clearer picture emerge. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.